from close range, forget about it.
Well, I thought earlier on this week we saw one of the points of the year with Nick Kyrgios.
That's where I got hooked. I was like, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do. And so I decided to come out of school. I just wouldn't turn up. And I would just go to my local gym, courts, and just train as hard as I could. And it all just took off from there. I had a lot of help along the way, bits of sponsorship, coaches working with me for basically free because my parents at the time couldn't afford to sustain a professional tennis career. They were managing a pub in Scunthorpe. In an environment like that, it makes you just grateful for everything that you have. And there were definitely times when I looked at it and thought, oh, I'm quite hard done by, but then I quickly snapped out of it and realised that I actually have a lot to be grateful for, and I'm actually really lucky to be able to play this game. When I was younger, I had to nag my mum and dad for the membership at the local club because they didn't think that I was going to play tennis for that long. I used to go up there and hit against the wall that was next to the courts because I wasn't allowed on the courts as a non-member. I could obviously play a little bit because I've been playing since the age of 5. This guy came up and was asking me about hitting, and it was the Polish electrician. Yeah, once I got the membership, he started to really help me. He started to pick me up from the pub, take me to the courts, and he had a basket of balls and we'd hit for a little bit, and then he would coach me. So he'd get videos of Federer and then compare them to videos of my technique, and he started coaching me through that sort of method. So we'd be working on my serve and he'd be like, oh, you're dragging your foot on your serve, you need to have a platform stance and just keep it very simple, and look how loose his wrist is, all this sort of stuff. He used to train me really hard. So we'd get this basket of balls and we'd do drills where he would just feed side to side until either I was on the floor or he ran out of balls. It really helped because it was this old school type of training where it would just be hit 200 balls until it's right. I slowly kind of overtook him, and until the point when I was 16, 17, where I just started to beat everyone around. But I'd still do sessions with him, and I think without that it would have been very difficult. I think that was a real crucial part of kind of my tennis upbringing. I hear a lot of the top pros talking about their love of the game, and a lot of it is really simple. I really enjoy competing. I really enjoy giving it my best. It's sometimes when I go on the court, before I go on the court, there's this feeling of there's that kind of rush, there's that excitement to play, there's a bit of nerves, and it's that feeling, and simply hitting the ball on the strings, it's just a very simple thing. One moment that really kind of inspired me was when I went to the Road to Wimbledon, and that was when I'd kind of beaten everyone in the county to get there, to earn a place at Road to Wimbledon, and this was when I was about 14. And I just remember after that, there was some sort of change in mindset of, this is what I really want to do. I want to play there when I'm older. And I started winning the local kind of tournaments, the grade 3s, etc. I never really considered myself better than other players. So I just thought about improving myself, and it was only when I got to 16, 17 that I kind of realised that I could be quite good at this. Then there was still no expectation because of kind of where I'd come from. So I was kind of going into matches with nothing to lose, because I was all these guys are getting way more funding than I am. All these people that I'm playing against, they train at really nice clubs, and I was just, still training in Scunthorpe. Obviously been a lot of losses. Everyone has them, but I think it's at the beginning when I started playing, I didn't really take losses too badly. I would just play, and then if I lost, I would just go straight and train again. I think it was more recently, in the last kind of 3 or 4 years, that when I've lost, I kind of let it affect my self-worth a little bit and saw it as a bit of a reflection of who I am. And when that's not true whatsoever, like, you know, everyone loses tennis matches. Just because you lose one match doesn't define your career. I think the thing that made it difficult was being on my own. So I would go to tournaments, kind of, there'd obviously be people that I know there, but there would be no one supporting or no one really helping. So it's like, you know, you lose and then you go back to your hotel room or your Airbnb or wherever you're staying, and you're just like kind of sat there thinking about the match, thinking about your chances, thinking about how much the weeks cost you, how much money you've lost, how much you've worked to get here, and it almost feels like you've wasted your time. So it's like, that's the difficult feeling. It's the challenge is actually more to do with off court. Like on the court, it's fine. Like you play, and if you lose, it's fine. It's more what you do with yourself when you've stopped playing. Maybe I kind of accepted these beliefs from other people subconsciously. I don't know how it crept in, but I started to feel like if I wasn't winning, then I somehow like wasn't important, or people viewed me in a different way, or something like that. And it took a lot of work for me to kind of detach my self-worth from tennis in a way, just to kind of build myself up as a person and be like, you know what, without tennis, you know, I feel like a great person. You know, I feel like people like to be around me. I feel like, you know, I enjoy life. I'm not like miserable or anything like that. I can have a laugh, and I feel like once I kind of did that, it kind of built this safety net for me to go on court, and it actually made me relax a lot more and actually play better. A lot of the time I'd open like I'd open my bank account on my phone and look, and there was just like £5 in there or something, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm a loser, I've got no money. and I would like be, you know, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I had to really change my mindset to be like, the money's always coming in, I can always make it to tournaments I want to go and play. Like one of the career kind of highlights that I've had is 2 years ago now, I went to Wimbledon, I hit with Djokovic, hit with Kyrgios, all the top guys, and it just like really inspired me to train more, to compete more, change things that I was doing. And I decided to leave the place that I was training at the time, and I decided to really change my game. From there, started to do really well, and it was just that kind of turnaround that I had of not having results for like nearly a year, like any results, and then all of a sudden playing really well, getting results. And you know, I made a quarter-final of a 25k, and I started to pick up points and beat quite highly ranked players again, and that was like a really good kind of pivotal moment, all stemming from the experience at Wimbledon and everything that gave me, using it to work on my own tennis. The love of the game is going to improve you more than any fancy coaching. The will to win is going to drive you to do more things than anybody that's had it handed to them on a plate. And no matter where you go, you know, where you play, court is the same size. So it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You step on there, the coach can't play the match for them, you know, the parents' money can't buy them a win. You just go on there and remember that it's, you know, it's down to you. It just feels like it's the start. It feels like I'm still 18. It feels like I'm still kind of like got the whole world in front of me, and I can, you know, I can still play. Like, it's not necessarily achieving a ranking or getting loads of money. I just want the kind of self-fulfillment that, you know, I've gone out there and I've given it my best, and I've given it a really good shot. And if I don't make it, I don't make it. If I do, then, you know, great. But I want that kind of feeling that I've done everything possible. And yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like I'm anywhere near the end.